Princess of Wales has made a stunning return to one of the biggest events on the royal calendar, the Order of the Garter service. King Charles and Queen Camilla are also marking the 700-year-old tradition in the grounds of Windsor Castle.
In a twist no one saw coming, the Duke of Kent has made a bold and unexpected move that's left Princess Catherine completely stunned. Known for his quiet loyalty and traditional presence within the royal family, the Duke suddenly stepped into the spotlight, making a decision that breaks with decades of protocol. Insiders say the moment caught everyone off guard, especially Catherine, who had no warning of what was to come. What triggered this shocking act? And how will it reshape the royal dynamic? The palace hasn't been this tense in years. The Duke's unseen decision. Few moments have stood out quite like the 2025 Garter Day ceremony at Windsor Castle in the centuries-old tapestry of British royal traditions. Known for its grand pageantry, age-old customs, and regal elegance. This year's event delivered more than just ceremony. It gave the world a glimpse into the changing heartbeat of the monarchy. As the warm summer sun lit up the historic walls of Windsor, guests arrived in fine regalia, expecting the usual display of pageantry. But something deeper was about to unfold, something that would stir emotion and rewrite the script of royal history. At the heart of the grand tradition stood Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, a royal figure who has served the crown with quiet dignity for almost 9 decades. With every wrinkle carved by time and duty, he wore the rich velvet robes of the most noble order of the Garter, not just as a formality, but as a powerful reminder of a lifetime of unwavering loyalty and honor. Known for his calm presence and deep sense of responsibility, the Duke had always been a steady force in the royal family. Yet, on this particular Garter Day, something extraordinary unfolded, turning what was meant to be a ceremonial gathering into the most unforgettable moment of his long and noble life. Before a crowd that included royal family members, foreign dignitaries, and spectators from around the globe, the Duke made a move no one had fully anticipated. With poise and grace, he stepped forward and handed over the ceremonial leadership of the prestigious order to Catherine, Princess of Wales. The atmosphere shifted. What had started as a royal tradition quickly turned into a moment of heartfelt reflection and renewed hope. As the Duke addressed the congregation inside St. George's Chapel, his voice, seasoned by time, but steady with conviction, carried a message that touched everyone present. He spoke of honor, heritage, and the duty to preserve what is sacred while making space for what is new. This wasn't simply a retirement or a formal handover. It was a deliberate, meaningful act of succession. The Duke was not only stepping aside, he was anointing a new face of royal tradition. In Catherine, he saw more than a princess. He saw a woman who embodies modern grace while respecting ancient customs, someone capable of bridging the past and the future. His closing words struck a chord. The future of this order, and indeed our nation, rests in capable hands. And then, something rare and deeply moving happened. The audience, usually bound by rigid protocol, rose in spontaneous applause. The walls of tradition gave way to genuine emotion. It was a royal ceremony, yes, but it was also a passing of a torch, a changing of the guard, and a public affirmation of the monarchy's ability to adapt without losing itself. As Catherine stepped forward to accept her new role, the air was thick with promise. Garter Day 2025 wasn't just about honor and robes. It was about legacy, trust, and the quiet power of transition. The Garter Day 2025 looked more like Kate's coronation. Let's dive deeper into the details of the event, a significant milestone in Kate's life. A modern royal's rise. On a bright ceremonial afternoon, Catherine stepped forward in a striking white peplum outfit, her chestnut waves gently brushing her shoulders. It wasn't just her appearance that drew admiration. It was the aura she carried. In that moment, She wasn't simply the Duchess of Cambridge. She stood as a living symbol of the British monarchy's graceful transformation. Quiet, yet unmistakably powerful. Since marrying Prince William, Catherine has evolved far beyond the role of a royal bride. What began as a fairy tale romance blossomed into a purposeful life of service. Today, she is globally recognized not just for her poise, but for her impactful work in areas often overlooked by traditional royal efforts: mental health, cancer support, and early childhood development. Her advocacy is rooted in real compassion, and her every step reflects sincerity, inner strength, and an unwavering sense of responsibility. This inner journey reached a historic milestone as she assumed her new role as the ceremonial head of the Order of the Garter, an ancient and prestigious order dating back centuries. But for Catherine, this was not just about donning another royal title. It was a statement, a gentle, noble declaration that the monarchy is moving forward, not away from its traditions, but toward a deeper connection with its people. Her appointment signals a shift. The royal family is embracing a style of leadership that feels more human, more real, yet still deeply anchored in legacy and honor. Behind this graceful rise was a quiet mentorship. The Duke of Kent, a seasoned royal with decades of experience, had seen Catherine's potential early on. Insiders reveal he often met with her privately at Kensington Palace, sharing guidance over cups of tea and moments of reflection. These weren't just formalities. They were sincere conversations rooted in mutual admiration and trust. In many ways, his decision to step aside and symbolically pass the torch to Catherine wasn't a surprise. It was the natural next step in a long-standing relationship of quiet preparation. King Charles III, long known for his vision of a modern, more efficient monarchy, gave his approval in a way only those close to the crown would notice. A subtle nod, a softened expression, a proud glance. As the chapel echoed with applause, his emotion was clear. This was more than a ceremony. It was history quietly unfolding. By Catherine's side, Prince William beamed. His pride in her was not just as a husband, but as a partner in purpose. His gaze said it all. This was their journey, their mission, and together, they were ready. In that fleeting but powerful moment, the future of the monarchy didn't just step onto the stage. It stood tall, serene, and full of promise. Catherine wasn't merely taking her place, she was defining it. As Catherine defines her place in the royal family, her fans see it as an emotional moment that reflects her resilience on the royal journey. Let's delve into the details of Kate's royal journey. A royal journey. On April 29, 2011, the world turned its gaze to Westminster Abbey as Catherine Elizabeth Middleton, a poised and graceful young woman from Berkshire, married Prince William, the heir to the British throne and eldest son of King Charles III. The grand ceremony, filled with regal tradition and watched by millions across the globe, marked the beginning of her journey as the Duchess of Cambridge. Over the years, she would become widely known and admired as Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Together, Prince William and Princess Catherine have built a beautiful family of 5. Their first child, Prince George, was born in 2013, followed by Princess Charlotte in 2015, and Prince Louis in 2018. Each child is growing up under the watchful eyes of the public, yet within the warmth of a loving royal home. The family resides in Kensington Palace, a historical and elegant residence in the heart of London. It is here that they balance royal tradition with a touch of modern parenting, shielding their children as best they can from the relentless glare of fame. Though the Princess of Wales holds a highly respected role in the royal family, her true influence reaches far beyond royal duties and grand events. She has carved out a powerful place in the hearts of everyday people by becoming a devoted voice for some of society's most pressing issues. especially those affecting children and families. Her Royal Highness isn't just a figurehead. She actively works with numerous charities, pouring her heart into causes that ensure children get the best start in life. Deeply passionate about the early years, she believes that a child's first few years shape their entire future.
I was amazed as a first-time parent that 90% of our adult brain develops by the age of 5. So there's such a huge opportunity as parents and carers and all those looking after children in those early years.
From mental and emotional well-being to physical health, she supports programs that lay strong foundations for a child's growth. With warmth, determination, and grace, the princess is using her platform not just to serve the crown, but to uplift the next generation from the very beginning of their journey. Mental health is another area close to her heart. In a world where emotional well-being is often overlooked, the princess uses her platform to speak up, raise awareness, and reduce the stigma that surrounds mental health struggles. She supports initiatives that encourage open conversations, early interventions, and community-based support systems. She has even co-founded campaigns aimed at helping people, especially the younger generation, cope with anxiety, depression, and other psychological challenges. In addition, Her Royal Highness is actively involved in promoting sports, outdoor activities, and the arts. She understands the importance of physical activity and creativity in building confidence, discipline, and resilience in young people. Whether it's visiting schools, launching programs, or attending events, Catherine brings sincerity and dedication to every engagement, always seeking to inspire others. From royal duties across the UK and around the world to hands-on charity work and parenting, the Princess of Wales represents a modern face of the monarchy. Compassionate, active, and deeply committed. Her journey from commoner to future queen consort has not only captivated the public, but also redefined what it means to serve with both heart and purpose. As Kate uses the occasion to define her place, symbolizing a significant change in the monarchy, the world celebrates with the British royal family. Let's dig further into the details of the ceremony. Ceremony, emotion, and a changing monarchy. Under the golden warmth of a British summer, Windsor Castle stood tall and regal, its ancient walls gleaming in the sunlight as if ready to host yet another timeless ceremony. To the public eye, it was a picture-perfect royal affair. Grand carriages rolling through the castle's manicured grounds, dignitaries dressed in their finest, and the polished badges of the order sparkling like stars. The atmosphere buzzed with familiar pomp and ceremony. Yet beneath the surface, something far more intimate and unexpected was quietly unfolding. A moment that would gently shift the course of royal history. Within the sacred walls of St. George's Chapel, the air was thick with reverence, but also a subtle tension. It was not the kind that causes fear, but one born of anticipation, as though the very fabric of royal tradition was bracing for a subtle yet meaningful shift. When the Duke of Kent, no longer walking, but respectfully driven in, rose from his seat, the congregation collectively held its breath. Time seemed to pause. Though his movement was slower, his presence was unwavering. He stood with quiet strength, not just as an elder statesman of the royal family, but as a bridge between the past and the present. Then, to the astonishment of many, he began to speak. His words weren't just unexpected, they were powerful. Not in volume, but in meaning. It was more than a speech. It was a passing of the torch, an open display of faith in the next generation. It wasn't declared in formal terms, yet everyone in the room could feel it. This was a symbolic gesture, one that resonated deeply with those who had followed royal traditions for decades. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, sat among her peers, elegant as ever. But this time, she wasn't just a royal figure. She was a woman visibly touched by the gravity of the moment. Her eyes glistened with emotion, and the gentle smile that graced her face spoke volumes. Of gratitude, humility, and a deep understanding of the significance of the occasion. Then something unusual happened. As the Duke concluded, the congregation, bound by strict ceremonial codes, broke protocol. A wave of applause rolled through the chapel, a rare royal rupture that carried warmth, respect, and approval. This wasn't just a show of appreciation, it was a collective recognition that the monarchy was evolving, not through dramatic changes, but through moments that mattered. King Charles III, usually composed, couldn't hide the emotion brimming in his eyes. Queen Camilla, sitting beside him, looked on with equal depth of feeling. And even Prince William, so often the image of restraint, allowed his pride and admiration to show. What started as a formal event, steeped in tradition, had quietly transformed into a deeply personal moment of legacy, emotion, and transformation. It wasn't just a ceremony, it was a redefinition, a new chapter in what royal duty truly means in a changing world. Now that Kate steps into her new shoes, the world expects to see signs of novelty and innovations. Let's take a look at Catherine's possible vision for the order, with an understanding of the origin. Bridging the past and future. Founded in 1348 by King Edward III, the Order of the Garter is the oldest and most respected chivalric order in Britain. For centuries, it has stood as a symbol of royal recognition, given only to those who have made outstanding contributions to the nation or served the crown with great honor. Draped in ancient rituals and high ceremony, it has long carried the weight of royal history. But today, in the hands of Catherine, Princess of Wales, the order may be about to step out of its centuries-old shadows and into the modern light. Catherine, known for her quiet strength and visionary approach, is reportedly breathing new life into this ancient institution. Rather than allowing it to remain a relic of royal pageantry, she is exploring meaningful reforms that could make the order more visible, more accessible, and more relevant to everyday people. The princess isn't just thinking of the order as a tradition to protect, she's seeing it as a platform to inspire. Among the changes under consideration are digital innovations that would preserve the order's rich history more interactively. Plans for online archives would open up centuries of royal stories, artifacts, and achievements to the world. Traveling exhibitions could bring the history and significance of the order to cities and schools far from Windsor, allowing children, students, and families to connect with the values it represents: honor, service, and commitment. Community outreach programs are also being discussed, potentially linking the order with charitable causes that speak to today's generation. This approach reflects Catherine's modern style of leadership. She is deeply respectful of royal traditions, yet courageous enough to reimagine how they can serve people today. Balancing these responsibilities with her roles as a mother, a public figure, and a senior member of the royal family is no small task. Yet those close to her say she carries the weight gracefully. She makes it look effortless, a palace aide confided, though the demands behind the scenes are undeniably vast. At her side is Prince William, her steadfast partner in both life and duty. Together, they are shaping a new era of monarchy, one that honors the past but speaks clearly to the present. Their teamwork and shared vision for a more open, service-driven royal family are helping to bridge the gap between crown and country. In Catherine's hands, the Order of the Garter may soon become more than a historical honor. It may evolve into a living symbol of integrity, unity, and national pride, reshaped for a world that needs it now more than ever. Kate's appointment was shocking and not expected, leaving many puzzled and hitting hard like a heavy blow from the Duke of Kent. Let's delve into the details of the legacy that is etched in quiet strength. A legacy etched in quiet strength. The Duke of Kent's recent decision sent ripples through royal circles, not for its drama, but for the quiet weight it carried. A man known for his calm demeanor and unwavering devotion to duty, the Duke did not arrive at his choice overnight. It was the product of long reflection, quiet discussions, and many months of careful consultation with King Charles and other senior royals. He approached the matter with his signature thoroughness, aware that the responsibility he was passing on was more than ceremonial. It was a piece of royal tradition steeped in history and meaning. In the end, his decision was clear. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was the right person to take the mantle. But this wasn't about popularity or public image. It was about vision, character, and integrity. The Duke saw in Catherine someone who not only honored the past, but also possessed the intelligence, grace, and modern awareness needed to guide the order forward. In entrusting her with such a revered role, he ensured that the values he held close, loyalty, service, and quiet strength, would live on. What many witnessed on the day of the announcement was just the surface of a deeper, more personal story. For years, the Duke had been quietly mentoring younger members of the royal family. His influence came not through grand speeches, but in soft-spoken advice, shared during walks through palace gardens or after formal engagements. Catherine was one of the few who truly absorbed those lessons, not just hearing them, but embodying them. Their bond was evident at the ceremony, not in words, but in the subtle exchange of glances and nods, silent symbols of respect, trust, and mutual understanding. It was a moment heavy with meaning, the passing of wisdom from one generation to the next, not through pomp, but through deep connection. By stepping back, the Duke was not simply retiring from a role, he was shaping the future. He wasn't fading into the background, he was planting something enduring. His rare smile at the end of the service wasn't a gesture of farewell, but one of peace. It was the smile of a man who knew that his legacy wasn't tied to a title, but to the principles and people he helped nurture. This wasn't just a change in leadership. It was a story of trust, mentorship, and continuity. It was a reminder that in a world chasing headlines and speed, some of the most important transitions still happen quietly, thoughtfully, and with deep respect for both history and hope. What effect does the order have on the monarchy? Is it more than just a ceremony? Let's find out. A monarchy transformed by grace. The 2025 Garter Day will long be remembered as one of the most heartfelt and meaningful events in modern royal history. It wasn't just a ceremony filled with age-old traditions. It was a deeply emotional moment that signified a turning point. More than just a display of regalia and protocol, it became a declaration that the monarchy is not only rooted in heritage, but is also ready to step confidently into the future. As the sun lit up the grounds of Windsor Castle, all eyes turned to the assembled members of the royal family. The Prince of Wales stood with quiet strength, the Princess Royal exuded calm dignity, and the Duke of Edinburgh carried himself with the gravitas of legacy. Their presence wasn't simply about showing up. It was a powerful message of continuity, resilience, and unity. Yet, what made this particular Garter Day truly unforgettable wasn't just who was there, but what their presence meant. In a time when the monarchy has faced both personal sorrow and public pressure, there was something especially poignant about seeing them stand together, not as figureheads, but as a family. They weren't just following protocol, they were writing a new kind of story, one defined by healing, growth, and adaptability. The Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, emerged as a quiet force of leadership throughout the day. Her calm elegance and steady composure stood out not just as a royal consort, but as someone deeply trusted by the family and the nation alike. With Prince William by her side and the quiet endorsement of the Duke of Kent, Catherine's growing influence became impossible to ignore. It was as if, through her, the monarchy was sending a clear message. They are not just surviving the tides of change, they are learning to ride them with grace. As the traditional carriages began their slow, ceremonial procession away from the castle and the evening air wrapped Windsor in a soft, golden haze, Something intangible hung in the atmosphere, a sense that a new chapter had begun. But this chapter wasn't written in pomp and spectacle. It was written in the quiet glances between siblings, in the supportive nods exchanged during moments of reflection, and in the warmth that still clung to the crowd after the event had ended. The future of the monarchy, it seemed, would not be built only on lineage or titles. It would be shaped by trust, anchored in sincerity, and guided by a deep, unwavering sense of duty. What the world witnessed on Garter Day 2025 wasn't simply a pageant of royal tradition. It was a promise. A promise that while the crown may wear the weight of centuries, its heart still beats in rhythm with the times. And with leaders like Catherine helping to steer the course, the monarchy's journey forward looks not only assured, but profoundly human. Now, what do you think about Kate Middleton's achievements and her royal recognition? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.